Naomi lived in Moab with her husband and 2 sons. But then her husband died. After some years, her 2 sons also died. Naomi was left alone with her daughters-in-law. Ruth and Orpah, her sons' wives, cared for Naomi and stayed close to her. She heard the Lord had blessed his people with food back in Bethlehem. On the road, Naomi stopped. She told Ruth and Orpah to return to their families. She said, "I have no more sons for you. The Lord has made my life very bitter." Orpah hugged Naomi, weeping, and then she turned back toward her own home. But Ruth stayed close. She held Naomi's hand and refused to leave her. Ruth said, "Don't ask me to go back. Where you go, I will go. Your people will be my people." The 2 women walked for many days on rough roads, with little to eat or drink. On the way, Ruth cared for Naomi, sharing whatever food they found. At night, they rested in small inns or by the roadside, leaning on each other for strength. The road was long and hard, yet Ruth never turned back. She walked with Naomi step by step. They paused by rivers and streams, finding small moments of rest on the way. Though Naomi grew weaker, Ruth stayed close, always watching over her. Many people saw their journey, but only Ruth chose to walk every step with Naomi. At last, the 2 women reached the gates of Bethlehem. When they entered the town, people whispered, "Is this Naomi? Can it really be her?" Naomi said, "Do not call me Naomi. Call me Mara, for the Lord has made my life bitter." Naomi and Ruth stayed together in Bethlehem, though they had very little. Ruth said to Naomi, "Let me go to the fields and pick up grain after the harvesters." So Ruth went out to the fields to gather the leftover grain. She bent down and picked the stalks left behind, working quietly and humbly. Some noticed her, whispering among themselves, but Ruth kept working and did not stop. Then Boaz came to the fields, greeting his workers with peace and kindness. Boaz asked his servant, "Who is that young woman working so quietly in the field?" The servant replied, "She is the Moabite who came back with Naomi. She has worked hard since morning." Boaz walked across the field past Ruth, but he knew something was special about her. And so Ruth met Boaz, the man who would change her story. Boaz said to Ruth, "My daughter, listen to me. Don't go to another field. Stay here with the women who work for me. Keep close to them as they gather grain. I told the men not to lay a hand on you, and when you are thirsty, drink from their jars." Ruth bowed low and asked, "Why have I found such favor in your eyes?" Boaz replied, "I have heard how you cared for Naomi after your husband died. You left your family and land to be with her. May the Lord reward you richly." Ruth said, "You have spoken kindly to me, though I am not even one of your servants." At mealtime, Boaz invited Ruth to sit with the workers and eat with them. She ate bread until she was full and even had some left over. Boaz told his men, "Let her gather freely. Leave extra stalks for her to collect." So Ruth worked until evening, filling her basket with more than she ever expected. When she stopped to rest, her basket was full. God had given her favor that day. She carried the grain home, stronger than she looked, filled with quiet joy. When Naomi saw Ruth coming, her eyes lit up with pure happiness. Ruth showed Naomi the grain she had gathered, more than they needed for many days. Naomi asked, "Where did you gather today? Who showed you such kindness?" Ruth replied, "The man I worked with today is called Boaz." Naomi exclaimed, "The Lord bless him. He has not stopped showing kindness to us." Naomi said, "Boaz is a close relative of ours. He is one of our guardian redeemers." Together they thanked God for his kindness. and hope returned to their hearts. Early the next morning, Ruth went back to the fields, quietly working among the women. Boaz couldn't stop thinking about her. He turned towards her, amazed by her strength and humility. She drank from the water jar as Boaz stood looking at her with gentle admiration. From morning until evening, Ruth worked hard, never complaining or resting long. By evening, her basket was heavy, and she walked home with more than she hoped for. Naomi saw the basket, and Naomi's heart filled with thanks to God. They stored the grain together, the empty room now filled with hope and joy. Naomi blessed Ruth for her loyalty. She whispered, "God has not forgotten us." They sat at sunset, watching the sky fade. Naomi's eyes glowed with hope, but Ruth wondered what lay ahead. Boaz had noticed Ruth, and Naomi knew it. But how would this story unfold? Part 2 will reveal what God had planned.